Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out on a chilly night. My name is Ron Grand Mason. The last time you saw me, I probably said, "Remember this face?" Well, I grew a beard and shaved off my hair. And Durham, Newmarket, we have about 3.7 miles from the Lamprey River all the way to the Oyster River that we're planning on putting 4-foot shared use shoulders on either side of Route 108, Newmarket Road, and adding sidewalks, bus pull-offs, making improvements so that we have a safer community-type roadway from Newmarket all the way down to Durham. This has been a long time coming. Some of you probably have been around since its inception. Back in 1998, this was a transportation enhancement project that was sponsored by the department. $750,000. It was going to just put on shared use shoulders and then resurface it and we'd be done. Well, 12 years later, actually now it's a lot more than that, right? So we're talking 17 years later and we're talking upwards of $10 million for between, or actually $8 million between this portion. I only show the Newmarket portion. I do have the website up here, so you can go and take a look at all the plans that we have. We actually have two distinct projects. We have the Durham Newmarket A project, which is the area from this point here through the Flats area, and just north of Bennett Road, right to Hamilbrook, if you know where that is, just south of Laurel Lane. And then the B project, which is this section here in Newmarket, which I figured would be the most important to you, and the Durham section that goes from Hamilbrook all the way to the Oyster River. So this has been, this is a very important bike route. It's used by students, that are commuting to UNH, professors, and anybody else. So we wanted to make something a little bit safer. So we'll be putting on 4-foot shoulders, 11-foot travel lanes, and a new paved surface with sidewalks, etc. There were several intersection issues that we also had. Bennett Road, Dame Road, down here at Bay Road, that we're trying to make accommodations for as well. Essentially, I'm here to apologize. Told you that I was going to get this project done. I am going to get it done, just not when I told you that I was going to get it done. I would have loved to have been standing here saying the A project through the Flats is done, and now I'm going to be advertising this project. However, I'm here to tell you that due to some unforeseen circumstances, we had an appeal of our wetland permit that required us to do some rework for the A project. That's done. We still have the contractor on the hook for completing that work. Right now we're in the winter shutdown period though, December 1st to April 1st. He could come back at any time in order to do this, do the A job. However, he normally lays off some of his staff, some of his crews, and they focus on some of the other, they focus their full-time labor on other projects that they have that are year-round. So we're waiting on the contractor to come back. We also have utility poles that had been set. We're relocating, I believe it's Comcast and Fairpoint have the final two switches that they're working on getting the lines swapped over. And then they'll be pulling out the old poles. Then the contractor can come in and do all that work. Completion date for that is October of this year. So we decided that having 3.7 miles of 108 all gummed up for the better part of 2 years was probably not in the best interest of the community. And so therefore we delayed the advertising of this project with the other side until January of next year. So that being said, the advertising date will be January 17th of 2017 with an anticipated start of April of 2017. Talking about a completion of probably June of 2018 due to the significant work that we have in both the downtown areas. Overall, I'm satisfied with the project as a whole as it's designed. Like I said, I wish it was out there already and built. I've had numerous emails, phone calls, concerned citizens saying that, why aren't we seeing anything out there? I felt it was my job to come out and tell you that we were delayed, but we're back at it. We're hoping that the contractor will be able to get that center portion done. Like I said, this coming year, you'll see people out there in April. We do have our contract administrator who oversees the contractor. He's out there now. You've probably seen his trailer off the side of 108. Feel free to stop in and say hi. He is a nice guy. His name is Steve Quirian, and he'll be overseeing probably this project as well as the one that's going on this summer. Like I said, we have several things that are on our webpage, NewHampshireDOT.com. Just go to that, and then you can cycle through going to the project center. You find Durham Newmarket has plans for everything, plans for tonight that would show this section, the section down in Durham, and the A project as well. You can see everything. You can zoom in on those PDFs. And then I also have some additional information. I'll be putting status updates out there. And I didn't talk to the town yet, but I know that with Durham, we'll be putting out, I think they have weekly notices of what's going on. And if Newmarket has that as well, we'll be doing that with you to let you know what's going on, so you can prepare your weeks and your work days through that. That's really all I have. I was hoping to open it up to questions, concerns that any of you might have. And I will be here a couple minutes after probably as well, just in case you want to go through the plans. I do have business cards up here. Should you want to contact me directly. And I do have voicemail, and I will contact you. I also have email. My wife doesn't like it, but I tend to answer my emails at all hours. So it's not just an 8 to 4 or a 7:30 to 4. You can contact me anytime. Chances are I'll respond. Like I said, my wife doesn't like it, but my kids are very athletic, always in a gym, always have the opportunity. Just quick email back. So is there anybody that has any questions, comments, concerns? Yes, sir.
For those who don't know me in the audience, I'm Steve Forney, I'm the town administrator. Question about our portion. We dug it up and replaced all the water lines, assuming that this year they were going to come and pave it and redo it, and so it would be a nice clean road this summer. And as you said, it's delayed. We know it's not DOT's fault. Is there any way we can get a top coat of any type on there just to smooth it out until you guys can do the project?
That's a very valid question, because as we discussed before this, I did promise our district engineers that that yes, they'll dig it up, but we'll have it coated before the winter starts. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I will have to check. I don't see why not. Why we wouldn't be able to do something like that. Similar to what we did through the flats area, we were able to do a skim coat over that just to, everybody seemed to think that it was done. Nope, that wasn't the case. It was just to get us through because we were potholing. I'm afraid that, as you are, that going through a winter, actually potentially 2 winters, it could be a problem. So I will work on trying to get that done.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Russell Pope. I'm up on North Main Street, and I got a question about the A part. Is that road level going to be increased? The height of the road level, is that going to go up any?
As
Because I could foresee that that would increase the water levels and flood stage, the pressure on the dam, and increase the damage to low-lying homes?
It's a very, very good question. It is not going to be raised, and that was one of the conditions. Like I said, the wetland permit was appealed, and for that very reason, they were concerned that the raising of the profile of the roadway through the flats area was going to impound more water. The state, as well as other consultants, were convinced that the additional culverts that we were putting under the roadway were going to be able to alleviate any raise that we put in. However, in the interest of being a good neighbor and being able to listen, we decided that it was in our best interest to maintain that profile through the flats area. So in that particular case, we're just taking out 3 inches of pavement, putting in like a 1-inch layer, putting in a glass grid for structure, and then another 2 inches of pavement over that. So essentially, we're taking out 3 inches, we're putting 3 inches back.
Okay.
We are still putting in culverts throughout the area, so we feel that actually that's going to be better because we're not raising the profile and we're still putting in larger culverts in some of the areas to alleviate some of that and to be able to extend the duration of the water going under 108
Okay.
and then down to Hammelbrook.
Okay, and my other concern is that, I'm really in favor of the bicycle lanes. And you haven't really mentioned bicycle lanes. It started off as bicycle lanes, but my concern is that in 3 years, the state's going to say, well, the traffic is so bad on Route 108 that we're going to get rid of the bicycle lanes and put in a third auto lane. And I'm just really concerned that there is no advanced long-term planning for the increased amount of traffic that we already have and will be having. And I would urge the state to consider putting a bypass road around Newmarket.
Well, thank you very much. I'll speak to your comment, really. I try to steer away from them being named or labeled as bike lanes because they're not bike lanes. They're really shared use shoulders. If a car breaks down, they still have the right to try and get off the roadway as safely as possible. So they're more shared use. It's additional lanes. Can I say for the project's entirety that no, we won't ever put in a third lane? I can't say that unequivocally. Can I say that when I come out to a hearing and say that I'm going to do that you guys will lynch me? Probably. And we've more or less done a 180 from back in the day. The DOT knew best. We knew what the municipalities wanted. We knew what the roadways could handle. To more of a context sensitive where we're working as a partnership. Because you live here. I don't live here. I live in Concord. So if you don't want something out here, we're not going to come in and say that you have to have this because it's for your own good. We don't do that anymore. So that being said, do I feel that this bike lane is going to stay? I do. Those shoulders will provide some form of safety. Or level of comfort. Can I say safety? No, because a vehicle running off the roadway, a white line isn't going to save you. So that being said, will it afford for more opportunity for the bicyclists to be out of harm's way more? Absolutely. And we do know that the regional plannings, the municipal planning organizations, they all want this. They feel that this is a very important bike route, as do the bike alliances. They all want to have this, so they'd be fighting for you as well to keep it from having a third lane, and that sort of thing. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Arlen Chaffee, 2 Packers Falls Road. Quick question. In this multi-use lane, will there be rumble strips?
This was actually asked at Durham as well. Chances are probably not. And the reason for that is our guidelines for installation of rumble strips is that we need to provide for 4-foot clear zone for the bicyclist to ride. Being a 4-foot lane, if we put a rumble stripe in, so right, the
Fog
rumble strip
line.
is right on the fog line, you lose a foot of clear space. And especially when you get into guardrail areas, you need 5 foot. And that's one of those safety things that was more or less negotiated with the bicycling groups and the Bike Ped Alliance. Mm-hmm. And so I don't foresee that. I would also foresee people having some heartburn about them because they are noisy, and especially in a rural setting like this, even those nuisance hits, especially late at night, they're going to travel.
Yep, thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Cynthia Copeland with Stratford Regional Planning, and Ron, I'm also a resident of Newmarket. So my question is about in the flats. So if you're not going to elevate the road, is what you've done in your redesign going to strengthen the road so that if there are flood events that there'll still be integrity to the pavement after the flooding event?
Good question. We do feel that the improvements that we're doing is going to armor the roadway more, especially extending the pavement out that additional 4 feet. Because right now the white lines could tend to be right on the edge of pavement. We do have gravel shoulders now. Some of the areas will be having those additional pavements. So as the water comes over, they're undermining further out, and we'll have to come back and restabilize those areas after the storm events, but it won't be close enough to the roadway so that it'll disturb the integrity of the roadway. Through this, I want to say it's 3,500 linear feet. We'll be putting in just a higher strength pavement in that area so that it'll take the roadway traffic, not necessarily for any of the flooding. Like I said, we will be putting in additional culverts, which we're hoping will allow the flows to pass under Newmarket Road quicker and to get down to Hamilbrook and ultimately the Oyster River. Any other comments, questions? Yes.
I'm Peter Nelson in Newmarket. I'm on the planning board, also a representative to Stratford Regional Planning Commission. You use the word hope a lot when your contract talks. And now that we've gone from $750,000 to $10 million project, I just, if you could clarify what how locked in the funding commitments are to the project, and what are the risks in the remaining contract negotiations that something balloons, escalates, or additionally prevents the project from moving forward?
Good questions. First off, yes, the money is locked in. The A job was already previously bid, and the contractor has we've renegotiated with them still within budget. We do have a contingency amount that was also included as part of the Governor and Council resolution for this project. So we should be fine as far as that's concerned. The B job, it made it into the draft 10-year plan, and if I'm not mistaken, the governor was having a press release for that today or tomorrow, I'm not sure. And that's slated for 2017, so we have the funding for that as well. Historically, we've had a 35-year plan, even though it's technically a 10-year plan, because we just had too many projects. We've significantly reduced that. We've been able to do that, and now we're fiscally constrained to whatever we can pay for. And both projects are, well, the B project is the one that's in the 2017 to 2026 10-year plan, whereas the A project has already been bid, money's obligated. Federal Highway is on board with reimbursing us for any expenditures for that project. So Yes, sir.
My name is Leo Fillion, 3 Lafayette Road. I'm also on the McAllen Dam Committee here, and the first designs, whatever, Newmarket has spent over $200,000 in the last 3-4 years on designing our dam and getting the DES approval for abutments and everything, and the hydrology that we've basically come up with, the future floods, we're talking about 1,350 CFS, and the design is that historically about 3,000 CFS would go into the Oyster River, and we're designing our dam for 10,200 CFS, and if they don't have adequate culverts across the flats of 108 and also Stagecoach, our design of 10,200 CFS for the Newmarket portion for the dam is going to be much increased. Now, there was a minor, at least the previous design, they were talking about changing one culvert from 7 to 8 foot diameter and the other one from 8 to 9 foot diameter, which was nowhere near adequate to handle the 3,000 CFS that is planning to go. Has that been changed at all in this new design?
It has not, actually. This project has never been a flood mitigation project,
No.
and I brought that up with Durham as well. We did collaborate with the consultant that you had done your study with to make sure that we did something that would not make things worse. We did upsize several culverts. We've made some of them twin culverts.
On the flats?
Within the flats area.
Okay.
And then the town of Durham is also seeking FEMA funds for Long Marsh, which is one of the restrictions, as well as Bennett Road.
Right.
So those things are still in the works, from what I understand. I talked to the town of Durham actually when I went out there, and they said that that's still in the works, and they're slowly rising to the top as far as being able to get the funding for that. They do have a design already set up for that. And then as far as, a global flood mitigation project, we've actually been, we've applied once to Homeland Security and to FEMA for grant funding so that we can increase the size of Hamel Brook, which seems to be our pinch point, as well as Bodette Brook and Ellison Brook, which are both down in the flats area.
And Long Marsh, too, is the...
And Long Marsh being the town's responsibility, they've already got that in the works right now.
So basically, the town's design of 10,200 CFS for local, I mean, if the Oyster River doesn't take the 3,000, we're going to get it, and then our design is not going to be adequate, basically, to handle a
Right.
13,000 CFS.
Right. What we see is we're going to really have the status quo. I feel it's going to be better than it has been previously. Will Newmarket Road flood if we have another 500-year event? I think it will. Do I think that any of our culverts can handle that? No, I don't. Our standard is to provide a 50-year design for a 50-year storm under the roadway for our regular culverts. Our bridges are only at 100-year storms. Climate change and our rates have increased significantly, so we find that we're doing a lot more with a lot less. So I guess in a nutshell, are we fixing the problem completely? No, we're not. If we get another 500-year storm, do I think that the dam is going to see 13,000? It might be pretty close.
So we're in trouble.
Sorry. Anybody else? And if not, I'll be here and you can ask some questions offline. Seeing nothing else, thank you very much for coming out. And like I said, I apologize for not coming with great news saying, happy belated Christmas, we're done. But we'll get this done. Thank you very much for coming.